Hello everybody, Roger says hey. Okay guys, we are on week 2 of the Premier League. Is that how you say it? So I have a little bit of catching up to do, but this video is going to give me kind of a guide, I think, to this season, so I kind of know what to expect, so let's get with it. Guys, I literally signed up for like $80 a month worth of live TV for Peacock and for Hulu, plus live TV, plus Disney plus ESPN plus. That gives me access to pretty much all of the Premier League games. I'm gonna second guess myself every single time I say that. I'm trying not to say Premier, but between the two of those, I should have most of the games covered, and the La Liga games as well. I was interested in those. I hope that some of the Copa America stuff will be in there also, or South American. I'm not sure like what you would call it. I know the leagues have a different name, but there's like the Italian leagues. There's so many leagues. Plus, you know, the American sports season, football season gets started in like a week or two, so I will want access to all of that as well. So lots of sports content starting up for me, a lot to keep up with. This morning I went to the Premier League website just to kind of get the lay of the land. I did ask you guys in a community post like what are the best resources to like keep track of everything. A lot of you guys recommended football apps, which I will put on my phone, but some of you said just go to the league website. Like that's enough also to keep you kind of informed on what's going on. I think those are probably going to be some of the best places for me to just kind of keep track of what the team standings are, the wins, losses, and all of that stuff. You guys use some weird terms though that I'm not familiar with, like tables, which we would just call like the standings or rankings. And it looks like you guys call the schedules fixtures. I'd actually click on that. I was like, what the heck is a fixture? So there's some different terminology that I've got to get used to, but just to kind of get me oriented to the Premier League only, I'm going to be watching this video today called the Clueless American's Guide to the Premier League 2021-22 season. Now, I did watch a video from this channel, BM Onus, on the Euro 2020. It was a really good video. He uses a lot of humor and a lot of like American references because these videos are made for Americans trying to learn about this game apparently. The cool thing is that the creator of this video actually emailed me after I posted the one on the Euro saying that he really enjoyed it, so it was really cool getting to hear from him. Hopefully he doesn't mind me using this video also to learn from. It just came out like a couple of days ago, so it's a pretty new video. I don't know, hopefully you guys will enjoy this video as well, and if you do enjoy this video or my videos in general, I would appreciate it if you guys would like and subscribe. But let's go ahead. I'm gonna get an idea of what to expect this year from, I think it's just English football. The Premier League is just England and maybe Wales, right? I don't think it's the entire UK. So hopefully, I know it's England for sure. For some reason, I think Wales is in there, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's just England. So you guys can set me straight in the comments down below. And yes, I know that you guys have probably explained this to me multiple times in other videos. It's just a lot of information to remember. So I'm gonna have to be reminded of things multiple times, I'm sure, before they finally like stick. All right, here we go.
Oh, hello there, fellow Americans. I see you might have heard of this Premier League from across the old pond. And I know, as Americans, we are conditioned to naturally dislike the British. I get it. They're kind of weird. But let me ask you this. How many of you grew up loving Harry Potter? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. I mean, the proof is in the numbers. There are more Harry Potter worlds in America than there are in England. You know how many Harry Potter worlds are in England? 0. You know how many in America? Dos. Both conveniently located on opposite ends of the country. And you know what? They're awesome. I can't even lie. Have you tried their frozen butterbeer? It's delicious. And the bottled ones that you can bring home, they're don't waste your money on that. Don't get those. Sorry.
It's true. When I lived in Los Angeles, you can see the Harry Potter castle from Universal Studios from like miles away. It's like up on a hill, and it's really like eerie the way it looks. You kind of feel like you're in I don't know, what's the land of Harry Potter called? I didn't read the books. I did watch the movies, but I don't remember. It's just like the land of Harry Potter. You kind of feel like you're there.
Sorry, tangent, okay, but I say all this because I know for a fact that y'all grew up fantasizing about which Hogwarts house you would be sorted into. Maybe some of you embarrassingly play Quidditch in real life. And don't
Nope.
act like you didn't have the biggest crush on Emma Watson growing up. So obviously, you like a British export or two. And you know what other British export you might enjoy? How about the best sports league outside of America? But I mean, you know, what are we competing against here? Chinese basketball? The Spanish league? Or La Liga as they call it? Okay, I'll admit that La Liga was lit when it was Ronaldo and Messi dueling every season. But that era is over, and Messi's team is a cesspool now, so nope, I'm out. Shark Tank. And yeah, the Italian and German leagues are pretty dope too, but you and me, we're American. Let's be honest with ourselves. We probably only speak English. And don't kid yourself that it'll help you learn Italian. No, shut the f up. We are Americans. We love convenience above everything. So much so that we sent Jeff Bezos into space and we couldn't afford to leave him there. And the Premiership is just the most convenient choice. We only speak English,
True.
so sadly, that narrows it down to literally the English. But have no fear because the Premiership is pretty dope. It's easily the most accessible league outside of America. Mostly all the coaches, all the athletes speak English, all the pundits and the analysis is in English. It is their version of the NFL, if you will, the most popular, the most bombastic, entertaining sports league in their country. And I know how much you love the NFL season. You know what's better than one NFL season? How about two? And at this sport, you don't have to feel guilty about them getting CTE, for the most part.
Yeah, I don't watch the NFL. I don't like pro sports actually here in the US. I've told you guys in multiple videos that I watch college sports, and the college football season kicks off in I think the last weekend of August. Mostly like the first weekend of September is when it really kicks off. But you've got some games being played in the last week of August. So that's coming up too. I'm going to be keeping track of all of that. But yeah, I don't watch NBA. I don't watch NFL. They're not fun for me to watch. College sports is much more like passionate, team spirit. You know, I feel much more of a connection with the college sports over here. Kind of like what you guys feel with a lot of your football clubs. It's more akin to that than our pro sports is. So couldn't care less about the NFL and the NBA.
For the most part. I know. It's like concussions don't exist in Europe. Good thing they don't have to use their head. Oh! All right. And just think about it, man. Another roll of the cosmic dice. And if you were born over there, you would absolutely love Manchester United the same way you love the Dallas Cowboys. And if you grew up hating the Dallas Cowboys, you would have grown up hating Manchester United just the same. Same, but different. It's all the elements you know and love, now with new international flavor. The characters, storylines, dramas, stakes, history. It's all here, baby. And honestly, I think the reason why this hasn't caught on earlier here in America is simply before the internet, we had no way of watching the shit live. But now you can pretty much follow any team in the
It's
world
true.
completely off of Instagram or TikTok. Plus, out of the major sports leagues outside of America, I would say that the Premiership is the most competitive, it's the most physical, and in my humble opinion, the most entertaining league. And it uses this clever little hack that Americans might be familiar with that somehow make a long 38-game season compelling from start to finish. For the most part. But let's say you've never gotten into soccer, or football as they call it over there. I know, idiots. As an American, who the hell do you even root for? If you don't even have a connection to the country, where do you even begin in picking a team? Should I just go for one of the big boys and be a glory hunter? Or do I go the hipster route and follow one of the up-and-coming teams? Well, have no fear, my muggle friend, because I was where you were about 15 years ago. And over that time, I have grown to love the Premiership even more than I love baseball. Which is not really saying much. But through my years of growing to love this league, let me go ahead and be your guide, your sorting hat, if you will. I'm gonna give you the lowdown on all the houses and see which one has the traits that you might like. And hopefully by the end of this video, I will help you have a new sports team and a brand new sports league that will be giving you entertainment for the rest of your lifetime. Welcome to a Clueless American's Guide to the Premier League.
Okay, I'm glad he's getting into this because a lot of you guys have been telling me, like, you need to follow this team, you need to, you know, adopt this team as yours. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. I'm completely neutral as of right now. I don't have a team. I don't have allegiance to any team in particular. I know a lot of you guys have said, well, you need to go with the team that's, like, where your ancestors are from. I know that I have some ancestors from Kent, and I think a lot of you guys have told me, like, the Crystal Palace is the closest to that, but I don't know. I don't know about that. So I'm glad that he's going to be kind of like breaking this down a little bit. I don't like to follow teams just because they win everything. So like me following Manchester United or just like one of the better teams just because they win, I don't like doing that. I want to actually have some sort of connection to the team. So that's kind of where I stand with it. And maybe, I think it's probably going to be like, I'll figure it out maybe over the course of this season as I follow it. But as of right now, I have no clue. Like he said, no clue.
All right, so as an American, this is very exciting because this is probably your first chance you ever had to pick a sports team from scratch. But there's so many choices. Where the F do I start? Well, first, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Pick a big team, okay? Don't be prideful. Just think about it, okay? Why would you put yourself through more torture than the teams that you already follow? Your team always lets you down. It always breaks your heart. Dear God, especially if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, if you're a New York Jets fan, why do you even have pride? Do yourself a favor. Just root for Manchester City. You've been through enough, bro. You deserve this, bro. Unless you live in Boston or the Bay Area, someplace that championships out their asshole, then do not feel guilty at all about picking a top 6 team to follow. Nobody's gonna label you a bandwagon fan in America. But I also know that some of you guys are masochists and you don't want to be a normie and follow these top 6 teams, so I will sprinkle in some sleepers at the end. But as your resident sorting hat for this video, I'm just gonna say it right now, the easy choice for the majority of Americans is to root for Chelsea. There's just so many obvious reasons for Americans to root for Chelsea this year. One, they got Christian Pulisic, which is probably the biggest reason that any American will root for a team. And it also helps that they're pretty good. They just won the Champions League, which is the most prestigious soccer tournament in Europe. And the fucking cherry on top, they also have the most lovable man in all of sports. I, of course, I'm talking about N'Golo Kanté.
this guy.
If you want to see the backstory on that, check out this video up in the eye thingies. So pretty much, Chelsea slam dunk pick for, I'd say, 80% of Americans. All right, video done, right? Well, not so quick, because, you know, there are also a couple of negatives with the positives here. Their coach, while tactically brilliant, is hyper defensive and conservative, and the dude has this really weird, like, Snape-Harry Potter relationship with Christian Pulisic. Like, I don't know if he likes him or not, and half the time he doesn't even start. So I know that's gonna frustrate a lot of American fans. And also, Chelsea's kind of known as, like, the rich assholes club. Yeah, Chelsea is located in one of the poshest parts of London, and they were spank-ass mediocre until a Russian oligarch, who might have ties with the KGB, bought up the club and used his oil money to go on a shopping spree for all the best players, basically turning Chelsea into a super team overnight. And now that I've said all this, it does kind of sound cool. Like, it sounds like a posh Bond villain's team. Like, it's kind of badass. Damn it, I am selling Chelsea too much. Okay, well, the reason why I'm upset about this is, full disclosure, I am a Manchester United fan. I'm obviously going to want you to root for my team, and if I could pitch Manchester United to all of y'all, it would be, don't do it. Do not, I repeat, do not do it. Do not become a Manchester United fan. I know you recognize the name, and yes, in the 90s and 2000s, they were incredible. The most successful club in English history. More league titles than anyone. The mother were House Gryffindor, and our fandom still thinks that we're Gryffindor. But honestly, we are Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff! That's the new...
I don't know any of these Harry Potter references. Obviously, I've heard of the houses before, but I don't know, like, what's supposed to be good and bad and all of that stuff. So this is completely lost on me.
Ownership came in and just poisoned everything, man. It has been a turd sandwich for the past decade. But if I could counterpoint it, they also happen to have one of the most exciting young attacking cores in world football. And on top of that, they just got Jadon Sancho, yet another attacking prodigy who might be better than all of them. Think of the squad like the San Francisco 49ers. They both look good in red and white. They have a long history of championships, and they haven't won anything in a while. But they also got a hyper-talented young core of players that, if it all comes together, it could turn into like this new golden era. But more likely, it's going to turn to shit for whatever reason. And that is my honest pitch as a Man United fan for the past decade. Probably don't do it, but if you do, at least now, no one will call you a glory hunter. And that should tell you everything you need to know about Manchester United. All right, let's now talk about Manchester United's biggest rivals and maybe the best team in the league when healthy. Of course, I'm talking about Liverpool. Biggest thing for Americans, this is the team that LeBron partially owns, so congratulations. And to the million more LeBron haters, you have now found the team that you will love to hate. But objectively, they are a fantastic choice. Like, I want to shit on, but I know what Americans like. They are wildly exciting, they're hardworking, they got swag for days, and their coach is as likable as he is ruthless. They also are owned by Americans. Oh, and on top of all that, they're pretty good. They won the Champions League 2 seasons ago, and the season prior to this, they won the league, ending like this huge trophy drought for them. And they got the history, man. Liverpool were the team of the 80s. They were just absolutely dominating everything. But for the past like 30 years, they've kind of toiled in mediocrity. That is, until their coach came along, Mr. Jurgen Klopp. And this German wizard might as well have been Dumbledore, because he worked magic. You know, Chelsea just came in with their KGB oligarch and just bought up all the best players. That's not what Liverpool did, man. Old Kloppy over here actually did his homework. He made excellent, frugal signings that blossomed into world-class talents. And he transformed the club through tactics and scouting instead of just overpaying millions for talent. They did it the right way. And because of that, honestly, they, at the moment, are House Gryffindor. So all you normies, here's your club. All aboard. But what about the defending champions, and undoubtedly the team of the past decade in the Premier League? Yeah, it's time to talk about Manchester City. They are the new money, but you've already heard the story. New billionaire owners come in, this time from Abu Dhabi, and yeah, they got oil money as well. And they pretty much did what Chelsea did a decade before. Now, before these new owners, Man City were pretty much an afterthought of a club, living perpetually in the shadow of the crosstown giants Manchester United. Even though they're both teams in the same town, they weren't even considered crosstown rivals. That is how far the gap was historically between the two clubs.
Wow.
But spending over $1 billion and bringing in superstars 3 deep at every single position on your team, that can change things, and change things rapidly. And on top of that, they went and hired the guy who used to coach Messi. And what has all of this resulted in? Yep, more Premier League trophies than anyone else over the past 10 years. Think of them as the Golden State Warriors of soccer, and their fan bases are pretty much the same. They both didn't exist until 6 years ago. And even though I said all of this, yeah, they're the ultimate bandwagon team for you to hop on, I want to take this moment to say that, just do it, bro. Live a little. Because here's the thing. As an American, nobody is going to give you for a team you choose. Because anytime I've ever come across another Premier League fan in America, we're just happy that another one of us exists. And furthermore, all the people from the UK that I've dealt with, when I tell them I'm a Man United fan, they don't really give me either. Nobody really cares. You don't have any hometown loyalties or family to link you to any of these clubs. So just follow who you want to follow. Do yourself a favor, Detroit Lions fan. I already know you like a team that plays in a light blue jersey, but wouldn't you like to watch a team in a light blue jersey that wins all the time? Like, haven't you been through enough? You deserve it, bro. Do it. No one's gonna give you and if they do, f them. There are very few things in the world that matter less than other people's opinions, especially on the sports teams you support. Now, I'm not saying go be a bandwagon fan, but, you know, pick the horse with the better odds. All right, but you might be seeing a little bit of a trend here. Billionaire comes in and just buys the league. What's even intriguing about that? And yeah, that's the other thing that you gotta kind of get used to when it comes to world soccer, and that is there are no salary caps. Like, yeah, there's financial fair play, but it's more like financial slap on the wrist, at best. So yeah, there isn't actually too much to stop all these billionaires coming in and just outspending. And sadly, that's usually how the Premier League is won. I'm gonna keep it real, except for maybe one of the greatest underdog stories in sports history. It's time to talk about Leicester. And yes, it is pronounced Leicester. I know, the British are stupid. They spelt it like Leicester, and then they think we're weird when we pronounce it that way. Who spells it like this and pronounce it like Leicester? Leicester is the name of my...
Yeah, I've been through that on my previous videos when I talked about the counties and like the names of the counties and all that stuff. You guys go check out those videos, but I think I said it like Leicestershire is how I initially said it with the county, and yeah, I've learned that it's just called Leicester.
Name of my cousin from Alabama, all right? That's a Leicester. This is a Leicester. But sports hipsters, kids who shopped at Hot Topic, this is your team, bro. This is your team. Leicester is the Premier League team that all the football connoisseurs follow, because they really are a miracle story of the football pyramid in England. Now, another major difference that Americans need to wrap their head around is that the Premier League actually has multiple divisions. And at the end of the season, the bottom 3 teams with the lowest amount of points get relegated, which means they get sent down in division, and then the top 3 teams from the lower division come up. And if I'm gonna be honest, the teams that come up, they usually go right back down because they're not very good. They're usually shit. Like, most of the teams that just make it into the Premier League, they're happy to be there for a season. And that's what a lot of people thought Leicester were. But cousin Leicester came all the way from the 3rd division of English football, made it into the Premier League, barely survived their first season there, and then the next season won the whole thing. For someone who's unfamiliar with this, the odds at the start of the season were 5,000 to 1. To put that into perspective, the Jets winning the Super Bowl next season would be less surprising. And this wasn't some typical oil baron coming in, buying up all the best players. No! They just happened to scout and moneyball their way into this weird, like, island of misfit toys. But it worked. They were magical, sensational. People were playing out of their minds, and it was the stuff of dreams. They slayed all the giants, and they won the whole thing. And it wasn't even a fluke, because since then, they've been competitive. They've been challenging for a top 4 spot ever since, even with a lot of the bigger teams coming in and kind of picking off their best players. And they really are almost impossible not to root for. For the Harry Potter fans, they are the Neville Longbottom of the Premiership. They started off all frumpy, everybody was making fun of them, but at the end of the day, they might be the real chosen one, bro. And Potterheads will get that. So while I started all this saying like, hey, you should probably pick a big team, I wouldn't fault you for following one of these smaller squads. Because if we go down the list, Chelsea was a nothing team until Oil Barons came in, same thing with Man City. And then you got Leicester, who did it the right way. So, you know, Giants can emerge from pretty much anywhere. So who knows? But all right, moving on to the next big team, let's talk about Tottenham Hotspur. And yes, it is pronounced Tottenham, not Tottenham. The language is named after you, English. Use it correctly for once. I don't understand. As a fat American, why would you not emphasize the ham? I would like to go to Tottenham and order a Tottenham. It sounds delicious. But if I were to describe Spurs in the terms of Harry Potter characters, they are definitely Ron Weasley. Just always a secondary character and kind of insecure about it. But I actually really like Spurs. Their logo is a chicken, which is always dope, and they got my kimchi cousin Hugman's son, who's a lightning bolt out there on the way. In fact, they might have a more talented roster top to bottom than even Manchester United, but for whatever reason, they're just cursed to never win it all. They are the Buffalo Bills. They get to the cusp many a time, and then blue balls. And Spurs fans who are watching this, I have some advice for you. You should learn from the Bills fans. For you guys who don't know, quick history lesson about the Bills. They went to 4 consecutive Super Bowls and lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls. It was pretty much their entire identity. And now, nobody freaking talks about it because all Bills fans do is put themselves through tables. It's genius, actually. So I guess what I'm saying is, Tottenham fans, put yourself through some tables and eat some fucking ham. But now let's talk about Tottenham's arch rival, and that is Arsenal. Now, Arsenal, if they were a Harry Potter character, they would be Voldemort. But not like badass Final Form Voldemort. No. I mean, like, remember when, like, Voldemort was on the back of the head of that, like, weird turban dude? Like, he used to be this invincible offensive juggernaut, but now he's just, like, this mangled husk of what he used to be. That's Arsenal. That's Arsenal now. Like, back in the day, in the 90s, they were literally invincible. They had a perfect unbeaten season. They got a lot of draws in there, but invincible is invincible. And they played this wildly attractive offensive football. I mean, literally, their badge is a cannon, and they are named Arsenal. So I know a lot of you gun-nut Americans, this is pretty much your team. But fair warning, ever since the 90s, it's just kind of been downhill, bro. It's just kind of been downhill and limbo at best. But I would argue that being an Arsenal fan is different from almost any other fandom in the Premier League. And that is because it is often more entertaining when Arsenal loses than when they win. And the simple reason for that is because they have, by far, the most entertaining fan channel on YouTube. Let me present to you Arsenal Fan TV.
You know, the best thing about today is the fact that I couldn't see any of it because I'm blind, so brilliant, do you know what I mean?
Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Third game of the season, we've conceded 8 goals. Medea, yeah? I'm breathing, live on kicking.
So while it might be a show all season long, win, lose, draw, you will definitely be entertained as an Arsenal fan. And that is kind of it for like the big, I guess, 6-ish, 7-ish teams. But I guess I should go over a couple of sleepers real quick. All right, so first up, Everton. They're also known as the Toffees. They're a proud, historic club that are Liverpool's crosstown rivals, actually. But they kind of always finish mid-table and never really challenge for anything. So basically, they're like the Weasley brother, but the one that dies. Burnley. Just think if Hagrid were a team. That's Burnley. West Ham. Notoriously violent fan base. And they also blow bubbles and sing about blowing bubbles before every home match. Newcastle. You remember that one movie, Goal the Dream? Yeah, that's pretty much them. And by that, I mean literally they are about to sign a young Mexican named Santiago Munoz. It's actually insane. So if you haven't seen the movie, go ahead, watch Goal the Dream Begins. Don't watch Goal 2, and I'll probably play out exactly the same. And there's some other interesting teams like Wolves and Crystal Palace are fun to watch. But honestly, all the other teams are muggles, bro. You as American, you want winners. You want a team that wants to win. And yes, Leicester proved that sometimes rooting for the small team can get you that absolute glory. But are you really going to waste your first opportunity to pick the sports team you follow on a 1 in 5,000 chance that this scrub team just turns into a miracle. Like, if that's what you want, I mean, do you, boo. But if you decide to follow Brentford and they get their ass relegated, good luck finding second division football on American television. So in my humble opinion, go top 6. And even beyond that, probably don't go Spurs, Arsenal, or even Manchester United. All right, so hopefully I have sorted you into your Hogwarts house. But I get it. There's still some issues here. You're still probably clueless. Like, kick ball into back of net. But much like any sport, it's the nuances, it's the accoutrement that's the good stuff. That's where the real flavor is. So how do you learn all that? How do you learn the rules? And what is a table? And to that, and I'm not kidding here when I say this, I think you should play FIFA. Not Ultimate Team, not Ultimate Team. F***ing hell, do not play Ultimate Team. That is mental heroin. It will take all of your money and ruin your life. But career mode in FIFA 21, this year's iteration, is excellent. It's the best that it's been in a decade. And when this comes out, FIFA 22 is going to be right around the corner at the end of September, which means FIFA 21 is probably going to be free on some subscription service you got, or it's going to be in the bargain bin. And you know how sports games are. Just pick up FIFA 21, update the roster, and it'll probably be as good as FIFA 22, if not better. And from there, you can try playing with a couple of the big teams, see if there are any players that call to you, resonate with you. And if you've ever enjoyed the franchise modes in like Madden or 2K, you'll be right at home here. I used to be a die-hard Madden franchise guy until I found FIFA career mode. And honestly, that's kind of what got me into the sport. Like, the career mode was just better than Madden. And honestly, playing through a season will teach you almost everything you need to know. From transfers to formations to who's this Mbappe guy? Why is he so OP? And also, do not feel obligated to play every game. Just sim a ton. That's what I do. And have no fear, if you sim it and you don't get the results that you want, you just reload the save and sim again, like the scumbag you are.
I don't really know what's going on with this game. The last time I played sports games was like the, I don't know, NBA. I think I played Madden back in the day, like way back in the day before the graphics got to be this good. Like it was like 3D, but the graphics look like 8-bit compared to this stuff. It was a long time ago. And I haven't owned a gaming system since the Xbox 360 back in like 2000. I think I sold it in 2013 when I moved to California. So yeah, I haven't owned a gaming system since 2013. The games I used to play were not usually sports games. They were like Mario Kart and Rock Band. Like that's basically what I used to play. I've had a lot of you guys say that I need to play FIFA. I'm not opposed to it, but I have to get a gaming console or something because I don't think the games will run very well on my MacBook Pro. Thinking about getting like a PlayStation maybe. Let me know if PlayStation is good for, if that's like the best gaming console for like FIFA or what, I don't know, whatever games I would play on there. I'm not sure. I'm not a huge gamer, so it's something that I would have to kind of get into. But he makes some good points about me, like maybe learning the league through FIFA, learning the game through FIFA. I think there's something to that, so it might be something that I look into. Maybe get a gaming console for the holidays. Maybe put that on my Christmas list. But yeah, like all of this stuff he's talking about with the games, like I don't know. I don't understand. What are you saying?
Don't act like you don't do it. Shut up. You do it too. Don't look at me that way. But the main reason why I think you should play career mode is it'll give you the most intuitive understanding of the table, which is probably the biggest departure away from American sports. Now, Americans, you're going to want to hold on to your butts for this one. This is a tough pill to swallow, but the Premier League does not have a playoff system. I know! What the fuck, right? The playoffs are always the best part of any sport. But they do have this intriguing trade-off here. Check this out. So they just play 38 games, and whoever has the most points at the end of 38 games wins the league. You get 3 points for a win, you get 1 point for a draw, and then you get 0 points for a loss. Obvi. And what this creates is kind of like the same thing you get with a college football season, where every game in the regular season actually matters, because the slip up of any of the big teams could spell disaster for their title hopes. And that's exactly what it is in the Premier League. A loss or even a draw from a big team is devastating because the other big teams rarely drop points. And even better than a college football season, there are multiple things to fight for, not just who wins the whole thing. So even if there is like a runaway winner, there's always like a race for the top 4 positions, which are the only positions that get to go into the Champions League. And for those who are disappointed that there are no playoffs, well, let's talk about the Champions League, because this is pretty much their version of the playoffs and kind of on steroids, because the Champions League isn't just English teams. It's actually
Sure.
like the Wizard Tournament from Goblet of Fire. It takes all of the best teams from all the other European leagues and puts them into a tournament arc. So all the big name teams that you've heard of, the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids, the Juventuses, they're going to be in this tournament. And if you're lucky enough, your team might actually play them. And it runs simultaneously throughout their regular season. So you're going to be getting even more sports goodness throughout the year. And it's usually midweek. So on Thursday nights, when I got NFL football and Champions League, I feel spoiled for choice. And what's dope about the Champions League is you can even pull a Chelsea. Chelsea's actually done this twice, where they actually sucked it up in the Premier League, but they got hot and won the whole Champions League. And that is what being a fan of the Premier League kind of gives you. Constant targets to aim for, even if your season isn't going as planned. And that's how soccer leagues make even a tie interesting. Because nearly every team is competing for something at every point in the season. Obviously, the big teams are trying to win the league, but then there's a bunch trying to qualify for the Champions League spots. And then on the flip side, you usually got, anywhere from 6 to 8 teams that are being threatened to be relegated. Oh, and also there's like this little brother version of the Champions League called Europa, but no one gives a about that. Think of it as like the Fantastic Beasts series. It's okay, but not quite as good as the real thing. But alright, now you understand the game, you picked your team, but how do you even watch your team live? Well, if you did decide on one of the big teams, you probably can watch them live on one of the NBC networks, but more conveniently, and this is what I do, you could just pay $5 a month and get Peacock. I know it's Peacock, but it's only $5. And what that allows you to do is stream every single Premier League game the entire season. And when you compare that to the NFL Sunday Ticket, which is $300, yeah, $5 a month, a steal. Now, here's the little tough part, guys. If you're on the West Coast, it could be hard sometimes. Some of the games, if you want to watch them live, are going to be at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., but
Just
80%
record
of the
it
games will be at
or
a
go
decent
back and watch
hour.
the replay.
And East Coast, it's almost never an issue. But if you don't feel like waking up at 4 a.m. or if you're just a busy person and can't catch every game live, you know what to do. You can just get the highlights off of YouTube or Instagram. And also, this is yet another reason why you want to at least follow and entertain.
You can go back and watch the game. They're all in replays. So I don't understand why you have to watch it live. You don't have, or you can record it. You don't have to watch that stuff live. Part of the good thing about it being on demand. That's weird that he said that.
Entertaining or attacking team. Because let me tell you, waking up at 4 a.m. to watch your team draw 0-0, not it. Not it, bro. Not fun. And that's gonna be about it. I know this is a lot of information to take in. So my best advice is really take it slow. Play career mode. Check out a couple of different teams. And you don't really got to worry about all the rules like handball and offsides, because now with VAR, they pause the game and they explain everything with instant replay. Just like in American sports. Good job, Britain. You're finally caught up. But yeah, hopefully you are primed and ready. Go ahead. Best of luck to you, as long as you didn't choose to root for Manchester City. But before I go, I've been looking at the analytics and I've seen that a lot of you Europeans also like to watch these Clueless guys. And that got me to thinking, would any of you Europeans be interested in a Clueless Europeans guide to the NFL?
Or just football. Why does it have to be the NFL? Oh, right. I don't know why I just went into a half English accent there. Okay, well, there was a lot of cursing in that, which I'm gonna have to take time to bleep out in editing because I don't like having to have a lot of language like that on my channel. Totally forgot that he cursed like sailor in his videos. Anyway, very interesting, even though he kept referencing the NFL and Harry Potter, which I don't really get any of those references because I don't really watch either one. Like I said, I've seen Harry Potter movies once, way back when they first came out. And I don't watch the NFL. I kind of get some of the references he's talking about because I am familiar with the teams. But anyway, that said, going back to the Premier League, it's not just, maybe it's not Premier, it's just Premier. Don't say Premier, just Premier. I don't know. So this video did at least give me a pretty good idea about some of the various teams. I'm gonna say that I am leaning towards Chelsea. I know he said that 80% of Americans would probably pick Chelsea because you have, was it Christian Pulisic? Is that what his name is? Honestly, most Americans don't know who he is and they're completely unaware that he's playing over in England. But I don't know, the way he described the team kind of resonated with me. I guess Liverpool might be a second option for me. I'm not really feeling drawn towards Manchester, either City or United. Leicester was an interesting one. I kind of like them, but I think to start out with, I might pick Chelsea as kind of my team, and who knows, I might end up really not liking them at all. as I watch. And like I said, another team might catch my eye and I might kind of move over to them as far as being a fan goes. I think Tottenham Hotspurs are also kind of interesting to me. I did do a video on their stadiums, so I kind of got a look at that. I know Kane plays for them, right? So I really liked watching him in the Euros. So they're another option for me. So I think that those three, Chelsea, Liverpool, or Tottenham, are kind of on my radar as far as like the team that I would like to adopt. I know my ancestors are from Kent, so I know a lot of you guys said Crystal Palace is like the closest team to them, but honestly it's my ancestors that are from Kent, not me. So like I don't really have any like loyalties to Kent, and I have ancestors from other parts of England as well, and Ireland too, so it's not like Kent is the only place, you know, my family is from. And they were there like in the 1600s, so they've been over here for about 400 years now. So anyway, it was a fun video to watch, and I appreciated him explaining a few things like FIFA and kind of how the league works with the divisions. Like I kind of already knew that as well. It's interesting though that he said that the ones that usually get moved up to the top division of the league usually get moved back down again, like relegated back down again. So I was always kind of wondering about that, like if they actually took advantage of getting up there like I guess Leicester did. So yeah, Leicester is the other one. So we have Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Leicester. Those are the four that I'm leaning towards right now. So I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on all of those teams, I think, and just kind of see how they do. I mean, I'm gonna like keep track of everything, but those four in particular, I'm going to kind of spend a little bit more time on, I think, just to kind of see which one I gravitate towards. Somebody already sent me a Liverpool flag, so I do have a little bit of that team, like memorabilia of that team. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and check out my social media links, Patreon, Discord, all of that down in the description and the pinned comments. Raja here, and I thank you guys for watching as always, and we will see you